make a big noise playing in the street, gonna be a big...
First thing I'm going to do is take apologies from any officers. I personally received some from Naomi Allen, and that is all. Are there any absent executive officers? Okay. Anyone else? Okay, moving on to approval of the GM minutes. I'm just going to take a quick forecast. We don't have 100. So this meeting's been called and therefore isn't a valid decision-making body of the Guild of Students. So that's annoying. As this has happened before, we do have an emergency plan. We're going to run through the meeting as normal because if you submit a motion, you still deserve to have that motion heard, and any decisions will be deferred to the Executive Committee for a decision before the AGM, where any decisions made by the Executive Committee will have to be approved by the AGM. So I'm going to skip over the approval of the GM minutes because we can't approve them, and then move on to the officer progress report.
You got mud on your face, you big disgrace, kicking your can all over the place.
Good man, Eagle. First up, the Centre for European Studies motion. That's John Antoniazzi. Actually, you're going to say up for all four. We have 2 minutes.
Right then, with the Centre for European Studies, we've got a really good dialogue going with Giles Conley's and also, I can't remember your name now, I'm sorry. I do know your name. Igor, sorry. I had a quick chat with him just about what we're going to be doing to take it forward. We're not currently on the representative board, but we will be making some progress on that, so we're a bit behind there.
The next one is keeping your promise, keep Erasmus.
Again, with that, letter's gone over to the Vice Chancellor now, and we're just waiting for feedback on that. We'll be meeting with the VC hopefully in the next 2 weeks to discuss that a bit further. And we're obviously tracking the numbers. As I mentioned in the last meeting, there was a significant reduction on what their forecast numbers were, so we're just going to keep lobbying on that one.
Okay, next one is UCU Industrial Action.
Again, we I'm going to have to go to policy really quickly. We sent a couple of tabs of the picket line, and again, the involvement on the second one wasn't as much, but the main driver has been trying to get trade union representatives at every level of the university, so it's just supporting them because the students' union is represented at pretty much every part of the institution. What we're trying to do is get like staff representatives at the same level as us, just to be able to get them to say, because a lot of decision making goes on with that they're not involved in. So it's important to get like UGS and UC actually at the table. So that's a kind of like updated position there.
Okay, the last one is VWALE.
This was my favourite one. I've chatted with the commercial services manager now. We should have Real Ale on. We won't be able to have it on tap immediately, but we're going to see what the popularity of it's like, and we'll see if we can make the seller conversions a little bit later on. But we will be having it on bottle shortly. So once that's been ordered, I think it's going to be in for the third term. So you'll have it on back at the bar, and there'll be a wide selection.
Good night. By all means. I think we have a roving microphone actually. We're a bit cool. Yeah, we are probably close enough to shout.
I just want to make sure that it would be advertised properly, so that we can actually find out if people do want it, because obviously it's not advertised, people don't know it's there, they stay behind what's going to happen in that regard.
Well, I mean, currently with it, there's no like cost implication for us to bring it in, so it's not a problem for us to we'll put something like the company's advertising and stuff. I don't see it being like too much of an issue, so we've got a few courses on the bar. I'll have a chat with the commercial services manager to make sure that goes through and he's happy with it.
Okay, good times. Now then we go on
Singing,
to... we will rock you! First stop is... Bad times. See you again, everyone.
Right, I've tried to sum up everything. It's been extraordinarily busy a couple of months on, so this is as quick as possible. Following on from the demonstration in February, we worked on lobbying the VC to outline like critical areas where funding needs to be allocated. We actually went into the first round of negotiations regarding the student union block grant last week, and from that we've been informed that student support services and also the Guild will be seen as like critical services on funding, and from that what we'll hopefully get is either a slight raise or we'll be bucking the trend, or a freeze in block grant spend. I mean, one of the good things with this is the fact that, well, not one of the good things, we've reduced in size by 50%, in 8 years. We've actually, as an organisation, per year we're £200,000 worse off. We've actually had to adapt in an environment where finances are reducing. So we are now currently extraordinarily lean, and obviously commercials had a very interesting couple of months as well. So things are actually bucking up with that as well. So there's been some really good lobbying going on there, and I'm hoping we're going to see a lot of positive results. Last week as well, in attempting to just try and make it as again lean as possible, I signed up on a voluntary redundancy scheme in the Guild, so just to see if we can make some staff savings, and again trying to just lower that overall cost so we can like deliver money straight back to students. And I can't go into too much detail on that because of employment law. On top of that, Beth and myself, I'm going to go on with this a little later on. We're working with a student handles commission, just basically outlining it's an academic statement on how university policy is shifting, how student voices actually grow on campus, and how we've implemented like the course structure, problems, like inconsistencies between departments. We're going to be outlining on that. Met with a student housing charity, which is not student housing charity, a housing charity quite locally, and we're looking at putting somebody on secondment from them and looking at how much it would actually cost to share salary costs like 15 hours a week, to have somebody that can come in and do like contract management and basically try to help students find housing. So you'll have like an actual housing specialist around to help out with these. We know it's been a major issue. Student media development. I've written a strategy on the mission statement for the student media in Aberystwyth. We're trying to encourage Bay Radio, Courier, and also Aberystwyth TV to grow as much as possible in the coming months, and actually get student like commented free out on campus properly. So there's some major developments in that field. We're looking at like different funding options for them. I've met with the Courier committee several times now, and they're well underway. So if there are people interested in contributing, look at the Courier Aberystwyth, and you can like throw in some info there as well. And then what else we got here? Working on the annual report. I've been to NUS Wales Spring Conference. I'm going to be really nice with Katie Dalton in the room. Hi. But that was actually a really worthwhile conference. You don't often hear me saying that, but it was really a good spend of our time. Ben got around and networked really well. He's got a place in the WNDC, so he's going to be working with Luke next year as an incoming president, and also what's his name? Rachel Mackey. So it's hopefully going to be a really strong team over there, and it was well worthwhile anyway. But that's in short everything, but keep an eye on the website for documents.
I don't think it's short in anything, John, but who's next MP you got? Naomi, just actually sent her apologies to the meeting, she can't be here tonight, so just moving on. Min, I'm sure we'll keep it brief as well. Good man.
Oh, go on, my John, what are you doing? Basically, the last couple of weeks we had elections, and thanks for re-electing me, and another thing is last year was very successful. Very successful, and that's growing year on year. So that was one thing we could do. Worked alongside John quite a lot with the career, getting around and I'm sure to plan to see how it's regularly meeting the career to try and get our student newspaper up and running for at least especially for next semester. We had society's dinner last night for some, hopefully we'll have a bigger turnout next year. We had about 30 last night, it was really good. We've got AU dinner coming up now at the start of next semester, and a lot of my time now is also being taken up by the ceremonies in the evening, so yeah, I'm just going to stop there and
Anyone have any questions for me? No? Okay, moving on. Becca?
You can read basically what I've been doing in the booklet, but I'll just focus on a few things. I've seen about 30 students this month with regards to like student cases. I think that's quite an achievement in the sense that students know where to come to, but it's also a bit of a shame that it's quite high. I've dealt with a few unfair practice cases as well, and represented on some appeals in the old college. I've written my contribution to the annual review, which is what all the exec will be writing towards to let you know what we've done in the year, just in one document. I started a presentation I'm going to the Higher Education Academy conference this next week. Just writing about student experience at Aberystwyth and what the university does for you guys. And we've been organising Course Rep Awards, which will be on the 10th of May. And it's only £7, but it'll be a really good night and to recognise the achievements of students who've worked really hard this year to improve their representation. I've also been working quite hard on the late submission policy, and it's quite a shame there's not as many people here tonight to discuss that, because it's quite an important thing. The university are looking into changing an academic policy, but we'll go into that later because I've got a motion on that. But there's everything else in the booklet if you want to read.
Any questions for Becca? Okay, then moving on to realities.
In the last month, I've been today to Aberystwyth Education Conference and I did a presentation on how to engage a student. And it was nice to see so many people within the institution asking us in Aberystwyth how we engage our community students so well here. Last week it was the First Award on the county ground, when all Pantacarans, we competed with about 17 competitions and we got through every single one, so we'll be going to the national Award in May. This week is Imca's Rugby. We're now on night 4, I think. And we've raised so much money so far, I can't even figure because I actually don't know how much we've raised at this precise moment in time. The It's Gone, which is our magazine, will be out tonight. I had quite a lot of press work this month because of the residences. Everyone just wants to know what's going on, and especially because of the sensitive issue of Pantacaran. So, yeah, that's all.
Any questions for me, Alan? Okay, thank you. We're now going to move on.
We will rock you!
Obviously, because this meeting is in court, any decisions, any votes won't be binding upon the meeting. So any decisions are going to be deferred to the Guild Executive Committee. But they'll use any vote outcome from this meeting as a sort of guidance in any decisions they make. So the first motion is student representation and elections, which is being proposed by Robert Harper. So if you'd like to come on and make a 3-minute speech in favour of the motion. I'll give you a 15-second warning.
Okay, I'm not quite sure it's going to be 3 minutes, don't worry. But as I'm sure many of us all who are here tonight believe, political participation is essential to our democracy, both due to the impact it has on us as individuals, but also students. There's undeniably a huge problem with participation among students, with voter turnout amongst the lowest in society. It's no surprise that many feel that politicians do not take our views into account, and that if we wish to take it seriously, voting is an important way to make sure that happens. In the next month, we have 2 big political decisions to make. One of those is who we as students and residents of Ceredigion want to represent us for the next 4 years in the Welsh Assembly, and I'm sure whoever was here beforehand for the hustings would definitely agree that's quite important. The other is an important referendum on how we elect our politicians in general elections, to choose between staying with first past the post method of voting or changing to the alternative vote. Both of these are important decisions that we should and must have a say in as students. Unfortunately, many students are not being properly informed about the referendum campaigns and the views of both yes and no campaigns, or about the views of the candidates for the Assembly elections. This is through it being very difficult for any of the campaigns, any of the candidates to actually get their information out to students. The Guild should be here not just to represent our views to the university, to enable students to have the greatest say over their lives at university. As such, we should help students make informed decision by providing impartial information on both the referendum and the assembly elections, so that students feel confident in their choices on who is best suited to represent them, as well as on which way they feel they should elect our politicians. Guilds should also make it easy as possible for students to get out and vote, making sure that every student knows how to get to their polling station by ensuring that directions are to the polling station made available before the day. It's really important that we get out the student votes and make sure that politicians recognise they must take our views into account, just like all other residents. Please vote in favour of this motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Does anyone have any questions for Robert? There's one at the back.
What are we voting in favour of?
The policy motion, you'll find it in your GM booklet. Okay. Right. Would anyone like to speak against this motion? No? Okay, I'm going to take it to a vote now. You can either vote for or against this motion, or you can abstain from the vote, which means you don't want your vote to be counted either way. So can I take all those votes in favour, please? All those against? Any abstentions? Is that one? Motion clearly passes provisionally. Okay, next motion up is proposed by Jessica Lee, and it's called Zero Tolerance of Sexual Harassment in Our Union. The GM notes portion of this motion aren't available on the PowerPoint because they're kind of too much there to all fit on. So you can find those in full detail in your GM booklet. All yours, Jess.
In your Women campaign, we issued a March report in March 2010, discovering that 68% of women students have experienced sexual harassment whilst at university. This zero tolerance motion will aim to tackle the sexual harassment that's currently happening within our institution, ending the culture that this behaviour currently is not tackled with a high priority in Aberystwyth and throughout the union. Sexual harassment has never been legally defined. What you're able to see is, as Simon just said, that it's available in the booklet. I'm asking you to pass this motion today because it's become an accredited zero tolerance union. Adopting this zero tolerance union policy is not just about our nightlife, quids in, reload and black house, but involving our clubs, societies and staff, making sure our students are engaged and aware of this very important policy. Tackling this right from the heart, the core of the problem, will put our union in the forefront of the efforts to tackle this issue locally. University and our union is a major part of this community, and we should be leading by example, working with Liffey Parish Police and other authorities here in Aber. If we're granted zero tolerance union status by the NUS, it is pledged to provide toilet door posters, stickers, t-shirts and ink stamps. Every male and female has a right to enter our students' union without feeling degraded or sexually harassed. This is a serious issue and the effects of the members of our union in the past. And we need to make sure that we can stamp these out and negative experiences and they're not. We should stop allowing our inappropriate behaviour and making sure students don't feel like victims of harassment, making sure our union is safe and a tolerant environment.
Thank you, Jess. Has anyone got any questions for Jess? Would anyone like to speak against this motion? Is that a hand up? An amendment? Okay. What's your amendment? Do you want to say it at the front?
I'm definitely not speaking against this. Basically with this, we've already got zero tolerance policy in place and obviously the union operates as a safe space. So what I'd propose just to the resolves would be to make an inclusion that we refresh our HR policy and our staffing policies. Just to go along that, because I don't think the motion mandates that, and not to change it completely on the theme, but just for us to change it. I mean, perhaps just update it to just bring it up to the current standard that the NUS put out, because it may be a little bit up to date. So if there could be a mandate for me to go over the staffing policy.
Do you want to take a specific wording to it? Do you have actually suggested?
So mandate the guild president to update and the student union, sorry, the guild's staffing policy. Is that okay?
Yeah, Jess, if you're willing to accept that amendment, you are. Then we don't need to take it to a vote, and we can take the whole motion as it's been amended to include a GM resolves point 5 to mandate guild presidents to update the staffing and HR policy accordingly. Okay, I'm going to take this to a vote now. All those in favour of passing this motion? All those against? Any abstentions? Okay, this motion clearly passes originally as amended. Okay, we're now going to move on to the last policy motion that's been submitted. This is the late submission policy, and it's been proposed by Beth Ann Fowler.
From talking to students over the past year and working with academic departments, it seems clear that there's inconsistencies between departments, and it's not only confusing for students, but it's also unfair. One of the biggest inconsistencies in the university revolves around your assessments. The way in which you submit your assignments in every department differs. At the moment, there are over 3,000 of you who have to submit their essays on time or are given a 0 mark for late submission. The rest of you are given a penalty per day for late submission, up to 5 or 10 marks per day. The university agree that all students should be given the same treatment, but they will only agree to changing the policy to 0 mark for late submission. The fact is, there's a lack of consistency between academic departments with regards to late submission and coursework. Inconsistency between departments can cause confusion for those doing major, minor or joint honour schemes. The university will only agree to a late submission policy across all faculties if it's the same as the Faculty of Science, which is the 0 marks for late submission. That the university is said that they will ensure that all departments will adhere to the same policy, and they'll have the same structured policy in place for extensions, so you know exactly before the deadline if you've got an extension or not. The Academic Affairs Committee have asked us to ask the views of the students and tell them what we want them to do. They will only change to a 0 mark policy wide institution, so trying to mandate us to do a 5 to 10 minute 10 marks a day would not be achievable. We've asked you over the past weeks what you think about this, and it's been a mixed bag of reactions. All I'm asking today is you to consider both sides of the story and make the right choice.
Thank you, Beth. Has anyone got any questions for Beth? Yeah, Tom.
Is there any reason why the university has said that it'll only go one way, not the other?
The Faculty of Science believe that the way they've done it through their assessments has worked really well, and they've had no problems, and they're very reluctant to change, and they refuse to do it.
Okay. Would anyone like to speak against this motion? Jeff, do you want to speak against?
If no one else will, then I will do.
Okay, go for it, Jeff. You've got 3 minutes.
Well, basically, the main reason that I'm speaking against this is because I don't think that we've got really students in general really have anything to gain from something like between a half and 2/3 of people having less leeway on things. I think that we can all see with friends and so on examples of where departments have not taken into account special circumstances, where even if the departments have said that they won't clash essay deadlines, people have 3 deadlines on the same day. Some departments where where deadlines are only set a week before, and if the system breaks down of separating the days, then you can have lots of essays due at the same time, and I think this would add a lot of pressure and strain to people who are in such a situation. It's not just that I think it's not completely about proposing the idea. I just think that the implementation may be bad for students, and that's why I'm speaking next.
Thank you, Jeff. Has anyone got any questions for Jeff? Tom again?
Speaking against it, I don't think it's fair that you say you don't want to treat all university students the same. The problem is that not all subjects are the same, and you can talk about university sciences.
Is this a speech against or a point of order? It's not really anything.
It's a point of information.
Not really. It's an opinion. Information is fact.
Well, science is. You can get 90%, you can get 100% in science, and you can't get the same thing. I just think that leveling the playing ground.
I'm going to stop you there. That is a.
Just take it business.
Okay. Jess, that question or?
Point of information that the Faculty of Science make up nearly half of the student population, and the other 2 faculties make up the other half of the student population. So science obviously is 50%, and so 50% of the university currently work on a 0 marks policy.
Yeah.
Actually not, it's about 3,000 population mark.
Yeah. each faculty is evenly spread between. So about 9,000 students in the university and 3,000 in each faculty. Okay. Is that a question at the back?
An amendment, if I may. In the reports to the Academic Affairs Committee that to note the number of students who are at this meeting, so I don't think it's a fully representative sample of the students' views. So any view that is proposed is one which is actually gained from all the work which has been done on this issue.
Do you want to just want to know that?
We've had, I went and put a blog out, I've got quite a lot of responses from that. We've asked a lot of college representatives, got lots of emails from that. We held a forum on Tuesday, but no one turned up, which I found very frustrating. But we went around and asked people within the union, and again, that's a mixed bag of reactions. Yes, it's not a lot of people here today, but if I'd love it if someone could tell me what else I can do to get more students involved.
Sorry, was that Ainsley? Yeah. Basically, because this meeting won't, a vote in favour of the policy won't bind it, so it will have to come back up at the AGM. So it will only be passing to guild policy when there is a call meeting.
Action will be taken on this prior to the, not necessarily prior to the AGM, but prior to us getting a quorum meeting. So something will happen on the basis of this motion.
Can I ask if this meeting, if the AGM is after or before academic affairs?
It's in May, I think. I'll have to check on that.
Right, okay, well I'll take the amendment then. You want to come up and speak in favour, Ainsley, just to put it in wording and then a proper speech in favour.
I don't particularly like the idea of 30 students deciding what the Guild's policy on this issue is. It's a very important thing for a lot of students. I recognise that you have tried, and I've seen the efforts you made to try and get students engaged in this. However, I think that the university needs to do some work, as well as the Guild doing some work on finding out students' opinions. It's their policy, it's them who want to change it. I think that if they have a desire to do so, then they should do that through the relevant faculties and departments and making sure that they've got a very good representative example of what students think about it. Because it will adversely affect those two departments, those two faculties that change. There's no doubt about that. And they're very different subjects. In terms of wording, I would like to just change point 2. It's mandate the Guild President and Education Officer to report to the next Academic Affairs Committee that the students of Aberystwyth University like the idea of continuity across academic departments. However, that there had been very low response to efforts to find out in which way they would like this to take place, and that they therefore recommend the university do more work on that themselves.
Okay. As it's your motion back, you can accept the amendment or you can take it through. Yeah. You can speak against it. Yeah. Okay. So the amendment to the motion, and then there'll be another amendment after this which has been submitted, is to amend GM Resolves point 2 to read as follows: to mandate the Guild President and the Education Officer to report at the next academic affairs that the students of Aberystwyth like the idea of continuity across all departments, but to note the poor respondent rate to the Guild work, and that university should put in more of an effort to engage the students. So, yeah? Okay. So all those in favour of the motion, of the amendment? All those against? Any abstentions? Okay, the amendment clearly passes. Okay. Roy Robertson's now asked for the motion to be taken in parts and to delete resolves point 3, which reads that in voting in favour of this motion, we as a Guild agree to a 0 marks policy for late submission if this is the only way to have continuity across all academic departments. You have 2 minutes to speak in favour.
Hello. Just because I'm short doesn't mean you do nothing. Anyway, why do I want to delete this? First, well, it's mainly because, look, a third of students have this no marks. Why should the rest of the students accept this when it's not going to be favourable to them? The other 2/3 of students have different systems. I know in Interpol you get marks deducted for every day it's late, and that seems like a more progressive system rather than just 1 minute outside of the deadline and that's it, no marks. That seems very punitive to me. So I just want to delete this to make sure that we keep our options open. We're not binded into agreeing to something that is detrimental to most students. Okay, thanks.
Just as a point of order from me, if you delete GM results point 3, it doesn't actually change the outcome of the policy motion, because you'll still have GM results point 2 to mandate the Guild President and Education Officer to report at the next academic affairs that the students of Aberystwyth University want to change to a single platform policy. Oh no, sorry, like the idea of continuity. Ignore what I just said, I've got myself confused. My bad. Would anyone like to speak against this amendment? Go for John.
It's a sad state of affairs, actually, that 2 members of our executive committee that have had plenty of opportunities to input into this have actually dodged the bullet when we've actually asked them the questions, not actually even turned up to the forums that we've been running. So, that is my honest opinion on this. To be honest with you, this is part of a massive sea change that's happening in academic policy. We're only getting a slice today. Currently, what we're looking at doing is absolutely battering the university on its support mechanisms for students, okay? This policy essentially will get the S's back, in a much more timely fashion. In rolling out the 0 marks policy as well, I didn't think I'd be in favour of this, a couple of months ago. But actually what it does is it actually tightens up all of the special circumstance rules throughout the university as well. And this is something that hasn't actually been outlined as well. Special circumstances in the university are so badly put together, they're so inconsistent, and that's where, it doesn't matter about the, how progressive the sort of like, the point shaving is after it. It's actually about, getting, oh no, I lost my train of thought over this. It's about getting, a proper system in place where students know in a clear and transparent fashion, what they're entitled to when it comes to like submitting essays. If a student has, lost a relative or something like that, they know exactly the process to go through. It's consistent across all departments. Currently, it isn't, and I think the Interpol system in place is, you appeal after the essays in, after the deadline to actually get your, to get your extension, which puts students in a massive amount of uncertainty. Look at this as being actually an extraordinarily progressive move for the university to take on. And again, this is coming with a raft of other major changes, which is going to improve the academic experience of so many students out there. I'm sorry we're not being able to put it across clear enough, but this is going to make a major impact on student lives. The 0 mark thing is just part of it. This is part of a wider support strategy which is coming into play here. Thank you.
Thanks, John. And I'm going to take this amendment to a vote. So all those in favour of deleting GM results point 3?
Can I speak again?
We're not around.
We have options.
Yeah, that's the... I'm going to take it to a vote if we want to continue this debate or take it straight to a vote. So all those in favour of taking the vote on this amendment now, raise your hands. All those in favour of continuing the debate? Okay, can we do that again then, please? All those in favour of taking it to a vote? All those in favour of continuing the debate? Taking it to a vote wins by 16 to 12. Quality numbers. Okay, so all of those in favour of this amendment which deletes GM resolves point 3? Raise your hands. All those against? Okay, because the number's quite tight, we're just going to take that again. All of those in favour of accepting the amendment? All those against? Okay, the amendment passes and the motion is amended to remove GM resolves point 3. Okay, I'm now going to take the motion as amended to a vote now. So just to refresh your memory, in case you've got a little bit lost, like myself. The motion now stands with the amended GM resolves point 2 to mandate the Guild President and Education Officer to report at the next academic affairs to the students of Aberystwyth University, like the idea of continuity across all departments, but to note the poor response to Guild engagement and to encourage the University to engage with students more widely on this issue. And also that GM resolves point 3 has been deleted from the motion, so no longer exists. So all those in favour of passing this motion provisionally into Guild to the exec as amended, raise your hands please. All those against? Any abstentions? Numbers are tight again. So all those in favour? Waiting for the motion as amended, Jess. Is anyone else confused on this issue? No? Okay. Right, to begin again. All of those in favour of passing this motion as amended, please raise your hands. No. All those against? Any abstentions? Motion clearly passes. And that brings us to the end of...
Buddy, you're a young man, hard man, shouting in the street. You're gonna take on the world someday. You're gonna...
motions for today. And I'm going to open up to any announcement of any upcoming Guild events of any societies that you'd like to announce. No? Okay. Date and time of the next meeting is Thursday the 12th of May 2011, and that will be at AGM, kicking off at 6:30 PM in here. Thank you.
On your face, a big disgrace, waving your banner